Welcome to iHeartGeek.
And welcome to a parodical episode of iHeartGeek. Wow, my brain's exploded. We're going to be talking a lot of Weird Al today, and this makes me so happy. This is another show that I've wanted to do forever. I'm like, I just finally pulled the trigger. Let's do a Weird Al show. So we're going to be talking a lot of parody, a lot of bad songs, a lot of cheese.
Bad song?
A lot of accordion.
There's not a bad Weird Al song.
There's a few.
No.
Yeah.
I have no idea what he's even talking about.
Is it bad song or he just tried too hard? Because I don't think he tries too hard. The man is effortless in what he does.
No, he's absolutely brilliant.
Weird Al does no wrong.
Let me ask you guys a question.
Right off the bat.
Right off the bat. We posed this on my other podcast, and it was, there are certain songs that are like the holy grails of songs, and they should never be redone. Okay? Unless Weird Al wants to do them.
Amen.
Then he can do anything.
Well, it's not like a remastering, or it's a parody. So
no, even if he wants to do a cover, or because he does that too.
When Kurt Cobain himself said that's the only person that he would let parody his song, that he knew that he was a star when Weird Al did his song.
Yeah, but that's just like the tip of the iceberg with like Kurt Cobain. The amount of positive feedback that this man has gotten for what he does. I mean, Michael Jackson loved Weird Al.
Yes.
Yeah.
Madonna loved Weird Al. I mean, those are two of the biggest pop stars, I mean, almost ever. So,
right.
And when they love you, and Madonna even gave, she gave the idea to do Like a Surgeon.
Yeah,
He didn't. It was her idea. He doesn't take ideas from people. He does them himself, except for Madonna, because they shared the same manager or something like that.
She told a friend. She told a friend of hers, like, hey, I like Weird Al. Why hasn't he done a parody of like a Virgin, like maybe Like a Surgeon? Didn't realize that friend knew Weird Al, and he was like, went and told him, and he was like, perfect.
Yeah.
That's kind of amazing.
Done.
Okay, well let's do this real quick.
Yeah.
Okay, who are you?
I am Mr. Winchester.
Okay, who are you?
I am Mr. K. Codge.
Who are you?
I am Mr. PB&Jason.
And I'm just Dub. I produce stuff.
Dubs.
Yeah. Today's show is brought to you by copyright infringement or lack thereof. Yeah, this show's awesome.
Even that brings up a good point.
Oh, fire away.
Of the sponsor. Because this is not a 33. I almost did this as 3366, but did you guys know that Al does not have to get permission to parody?
But he does.
I was going to say due to fair use.
Yeah.
But he does.
Mm-hmm,
he goes and chooses. No, he goes and chooses.
I actually, that was one of the things I wanted to talk about.
Go for
right
it.
off the bat.
Yeah, fire away.
For this. So under the fair use provision of the U.S. copyright law affirmed by the U.S. Supreme Court in the 94 case of Campbell versus A Cuff Rose Music, artists such as Yankovic do not need permission to record parody.
Correct.
However, as a personal rule and as a means of maintaining good relationships, Al has always sought permission from the original artist before commercially releasing the parody. He said he doesn't want to hurt anybody's feelings when he does it. Mm-hmm. I mean, that just... Everything I've been reading about Weird Al is he is just like one of the most genuine people like ever. He wants to talk to them and say, hey, I'm going to do this. And all of his songs, they're not even slapstick towards
the person,
the artist or the song that he's doing. It's just he's taking kind of the beat and then he's just doing
what he's doing.
Yeah, comedy out of it. So I mean, it's not even on that. So
well,
I mean,
let's piggyback on that with him getting permission. He actually did get permission from Coolio, and then Coolio went on the big press tour saying, "Oh, we didn't sanction this, blah 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 blah." The fact is, it came out years later that yes, he did. He was trying to do it to make his song feel more serious because he changed his mind or whatever. And it turned out Coolio made a lot of money on.
Well, yeah, because he will pay royalties for it.
Well, and bad press is good press. So no matter what, everybody profited from it. So.
And the only other person that said no to
Prince.
Yeah, was Prince.
over the years.
There's
yeah,
actually
Prince.
there's actually two others.
Paul
the other?
McCartney said no.
I could see Paul saying no.
Eminem said,
did say no also.
And U2 said no as well.
Yes, yeah, U2 said no. Paul McCartney said no because he wanted to do a certain song. He wanted to do a Wings, one of the Wings songs.
I could see him saying no to that because of
So he said no
Linda.
to that, yeah. But other than that, everybody else has always said yes. There was a miscommunication with Coolio, but it all ended up well and fine in the end. And then there was a miscommunication with Lady Gaga when he did her song, and the tour manager actually, who Al spoke to, said, "No, we don't want you to do it." Word got back to Lady Gaga, and she personally contacted him and said, "No, you have my blessing to do this." And then he also, all the proceeds went to, I believe, one of her charities.
Oh, that's awesome.
great.
He's like him and Stan Lee. I kind of put on the Geek throne. You know,
You just read my mind because I was about to say let's just call Weird Al the Stan Lee of music. Like
he is. He's
just
a geek. I mean, he is an awkward geek. He is the definition of just a good human being, and he's who we should aspire to be. Not talent wise, but just the way he treats things.
he just needs to be in any music video. There needs to be a cameo of Weird Al somewhere.
Oh, absolutely.
Well,
okay, so let's do this real quick. What was your first intro into the Weird Al foray?
Mine was either I believe maybe Eat It.
Eat It.
I think maybe
Yeah.
Eat It or Fat, one of those ones, or when he did Money for Nothing or Beverly Hills, the
Beverly
song
Hills
together.
one.
Yeah, there was a few different things. I know I heard of them a few times.
Mm-hmm.
I know my pops really liked them, so I know I heard it that way. But as far as like really looking into his stuff, it was definitely one of the Michael Jacksons.
Yeah.
Oh man, like I remember listening at some point to Dr. Demento when he was on there, when he first got his start out. And then, or it was like a replay of one of the albums, but I think I was the same as far as music. I think it was more of it was I Lost on Jeopardy,
Yeah.
Liar the Kaiser,
Yeah.
like even Like a Surgeon would be
all
would
the
be one of
food
them.
stuff.
But then I remember Eat It was the one that it really took, because I was really big Michael Jackson.
Well, yeah,
fan
and
back
he
then, too.
did such a great job with all those
Oh, yeah.
videos as well.
Jason.
I had a friend who had the first cassette, and it was Ricky.
Oh, nice.
You know, and it was hearing the first
Wow.
stuff. And then first time I saw him was Eat It
Nice.
Oh,
on
nice.
MTV. But yeah, so hearing the Ricky and My Bologna and another one that rides the bus and all those, and just thinking it was hysterical. Yeah.
Yeah, the first one that really caught my attention, I mean, I'd heard him for years, but the first one that really caught my attention that I could sing it word for word was Stuck in a Closet with Vanna White.
Right.
Just a hilarious song, and it was like so obscure and weird, and I'm like, this just touches something inside of me. I get this. You know, and that it was like one of those magical moments, like, okay, well, this isn't a rock star by any means, but this is really cool.
Yeah.
You know, and that's where you got to first learn. I learned as a musician, I can separate the two. You don't have to have that persona. You can just make music that's cool, that's not commercially cool, I guess.
Yeah, and he did it all with an accordion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I always wanted to play an accordion because of him, too. Just never did. Because, yeah. Okay, so let's, before we get into the Weird Al stuff, let's jump right into our Hoobie 2.
And now it's time for a showdown.
Okay, on this edition of Hoobie 2, I guess it should be another Jason one, but it's not, ironically. So we are doing Light Force versus Kilowog. And this has already been won by Twitter and Facebook by one Light Force. How'd you feel about that one, Jason?
I thought that was awesome. I don't think that has anything to do with people knowing me or anything like that.
Or for certain people politicking for it, campaigning for it.
Hey, I just said read as much as you can to get an understanding of the powers before he faces, a master teaching Green Lantern.
Nice.
you know?
Right.
Okay, so because this is Kaj's picks, who do you pick, sir?
Gosh, I mean, it's like picking your favorite son. Like,
Oh,
I
that's
don't know
easy
which
for me.
one.
Oh, no, I mean, no, it's not. No, it's not.
Is it? So what does it rhyme with?
Yeah, no.
I'm gonna. I know they were both my picks, but the more I think about it, my car's named Kilowog.
I was actually going to say
go.
that because I parked behind you here at Wendell's place, and I was
I
like,
have
hey.
action figures of him. Like I think it would be a drawn out battle, but I think in the end, I think Kilowog would actually edge out Light Force, just because Light Force has he's
newer to the scene.
He's newer to the scene, but I mean, I feel that his powers are going to grow, and there will be more stuff that he can do with his powers. But for right now, he's still a oh god, I can't even think of. He's still a poser. He's still a poser right now. So for that, I think Kilowog will take him.
Okay.
Let me do mine. I'm going to have you do yours.
I'm last.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I'm actually going to have to agree with Kaj just because, like, okay, Light Force is newer to the scene, and Kilowog is the guy that teaches people how to use their Light Force, which I think. I haven't got the chance to read the book yet because someone hasn't brought me my copy yet. But, Jason. But with that being said, it's not, and I say, and everyone knows this is nothing personal, nothing like that. But I think that I'm gonna have to go with Kilowog because let's be honest, anytime you put a Green Lantern, anything onto a Who Beats Who, I'm going to be going for the Green Lantern.
Sure, of course.
So I don't know who Kilowog is.
Mm-hmm.
I read a little bit about him. Pardon me, but I have been reading Jason's book, so I am familiar with how Light Force and what his powers and what he's capable of doing. Just that fact alone, I am going to go Light Force because I already know what he can do. Rather than I've never even watched that Abomination Green Lantern movie.
That's a good thing because he was terrible in that.
Yeah,
too.
well, I would just watch it for Ryan Reynolds' abs. So,
and they are wonderful.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Yeah. But I mean, I can't knowingly take somebody if I know nothing about them. Whereas I know more about Light Force and what he can do. So I'll take Light Force.
Fair enough.
All right.
I know what. I think we know where this is going.
And make up for.
Was that the sacrificial flower? He just,
Yeah.
Would you stay in the mansion with me, Jason?
Okay, so just so you guys know, Light Force has been practicing his abilities for 14 years.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So he does have some skill with them. But as far as practical application in the real world, that he is new at.
Okay.
So yes. There is one important thing. Now, Kilowog is a Green Lantern, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, Light Force's abilities are yellow. Okay, all of his boxes, all of the abilities that he do, they are yellow based.
Okay.
Yellow at first, and then to yellow outlines. Everything yellow, and yellow is, the weakness.
Not
for
anymore.
No.
Not for a lot of years.
historically it was. And
Well, I mean, but for yellow in the Green Lantern realm is fear. So does Light Force
Run off fear.
I'm just
does his
saying
power
it's
by fear?
yellow. I mean, didn't Batman paint a room yellow and Robin beat up
we
Green
don't
Lantern?
talk about that. That was terrible. that was a terrible book. Yeah.
That was so many years ago.
Multiverses.
There you go. Exactly.
Okay. So here's the thing. Kilowog showed up with a sack lunch, and Light Force ate it.
Okay.
I don't know what that means.
That means Light Force won this battle.
Okay, there you go.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so with a 4-2, we have Light Force going on to the next round against Rick and Morty.
That'd be interesting.
Okay, I want to talk real quick one more time about our sponsor, 1994. Yes, not the whole year, but the podcast. Go to iTunes, check them out, type in 1994. It's a really entertaining podcast. It's a comedy podcast-ish. It's everything that we love to talk about. It's nostalgia. They take 1 month out of the year of 1994 and they talk about everything that happened. Simpsons episodes and music and who died and just books that came out. The news stories. It's really an entertaining... it's a journey.
Just full on nostalgia
Yeah.
of everything and anything that's 1994. Right?
Absolutely. It's something that I definitely wish I would have thought of first, because I probably would have taken that as a segment for our show.
Nice.
And that's actually a huge compliment. Check these guys out. It's on iTunes. They have a new episode that comes out twice a month on the first and the third Friday of the month.
About
Check
how long
them out.
are the episodes?
They're about an hour and a half.
Hour and a half?
Yeah.
So they cover a lot of...
It's detailed.
Okay.
So they have a lot of special guests. They have a lot of New York City comedians that come in, which means they're funnier than we are. So,
Yeah.
But definitely check these guys out. iTunes 1994, the numbers.
Will
Yeah.
do.
So there you go. Okay, so let's go on, and Jason is going to be doing a 3366 or 6633.
6633.
66% truth, 33% lies. Can you tell the difference?
Okay, Jason, what do you got for us on our
I don't know what the rest of you.
3366?
I don't know what the rest of you guys do, but I do 3366.
I do a 6633.
Yeah, I know.
Two truths and a lie.
Okay, so yeah, 2 truths and a lie. That's what this basically is.
Oh yeah, we always forget to explain that, since we figure this is the new show for somebody every time.
Right.
we do
Okay.
this.
Truths.
So,
hope.
3366 is 2 truths and a lie. I'm going to present 3 statements. 2 are true. One of them is not, and you guys have to come up with the one that is not. And these are about Weird Al Yankovic.
Okay.
Groovy. This is gonna be tough to get us on. You know that, right?
Well, yeah. Now I know all the research that went in. This is going to be pretty easy. All right, you guys
Katie.
ready? Okay, here we go. Number 1. Al's parents chose the accordion for him when a door-to-door salesman named Frankie Yankovic, America's Polka King, visited their Linwood home.
Okay.
Number 2, Al skipped the 2nd grade.
Right.
Okay.
Number 3, Prince and Al had a terrible relationship because he wanted to approach him to do parodies, and Prince just would have nothing to do with it. In fact, it was so bad that when they were in the same area, Prince wouldn't even look at him.
Was that mentioned somewhere before today?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe.
All right,
Just a little.
take your picks. Okay, y'all won. Shut up. Y'all did too much research, and so yeah, you all win.
I'm sorry. Hey, wait, hold on. We got to do it 3 times. All right. That was so weak.
That was weak sauce.
That whole deal with Prince though, because they sent him a memo saying do not look at Prince while you're sitting.
And that doesn't fly with Al.
Yeah, that is. I mean, all the guy wanted to do was just when doves cry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was
Wait. When
you didn't
doves
actually
cry?
answer.
Ooh, hey, Weird Al.
So
I
what
think we
was
got
the
your
answer?
next.
What was the wrong one?
The first one was sort of a mix of facts to try to throw you off, but
Frankie
Yankovic was the American
polka
Polka King.
He was.
He was
and
not a
the biggest
door-to-door
inspiration.
salesman.
And a big inspiration, and the door-to-door salesman, the reason he had accordions or a guitar, and because of the inspiration of the Polka King, Al got into the accordion.
I don't think we've ever gotten 100% before on a 3366.
Well, you've never researched this much before.
I didn't research anything. I love Weird Al.
That's fakey Katie.
yes, Katie did do some research for us, and I do appreciate it there, Katie. Wow, so I don't even know. Should we celebrate this for a little? I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this. I think we should make our own parody for this. Jason's so wrong. Whoo! Oh no, I just. No, that was bad. Okay.
Yes. True.
True.
Okay, let's discuss this just for a minute or two. What's your feelings on parody of pop culture, movie, music, whatever? What's your feelings? Do you think it's? I mean, let's take Weird Al out of the equation. He's perfect. Okay, he's the geek.
He's the master of it, right?
Yes, there is none better. How do you feel about the other stuff?
I think that if you have an issue with it, you need to go have a Snickers.
Yes.
Because honestly,
It's all
in good fun.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, if it's insulting, and I don't think I've ever seen it insulting, then that's one thing. But it's, a lot of times you're dealing with, especially in music, you're dealing with a bunch of the nice thing about Al in music is it separates the really genuinely cool people from the oversensitive, little piss ants. You know?
Absolutely.
Because if you do have a problem,
You'll all solve them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you have a problem with somebody having fun with you, you know, you got a problem.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I mean, obviously, we have done a podcast previously about Mel Brooks.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, we are all in favor of parody regardless, because that is parody king, if you will. But no, you're absolutely right. I mean, everything should be taken on a lighter side anyways. You know,
Yes.
and that's what Al can do, and that's what everybody... I mean, there's so many of these people who say, well, if Al parodies you, you made it.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's one of those things. It was the same thing. It's the same thing as like South Park. They say if South Park puts you on their show, I mean, you made it.
Yeah.
I mean, they're a little bit more hardcore with the way that they do some
Oh,
stuff,
yeah.
but
Right.
you know,
Well, they
But
are.
Simpsons, I mean, lots of them,
yeah,
you know?
exactly. So
Well, even with like Star Trek with Galaxy Quest or
yeah.
Or
Which is-
Orville. in
you know,
some
or
ways.
Orville, yeah.
Is homage the same as parody?
Yeah, similar.
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe it's not as funny, but
well, because
I think it's the same.
What line do you draw? Because you could say that Al doesn't necessarily parody them. He kind of, I mean, in some ways, he does pay homage to quite a few of them.
Well, I think
You know, what he does.
in order to have something of yours parodied, I think it takes a lot of respect of the work that you made for it to be parodied.
If it's going to be parodied well.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, you hear a lot of crappy ones. That you're like, okay, yeah. But like the scary movie stuff. I mean, that to me was bad parody.
The first two were good because they
And
were
then-
done
yeah.
by the Wayans brothers.
And then they
Everything
became
after
parody
that
of
were,
themselves.
Yeah, parody of a parody. But the
Right.
first two were good because the first
Yeah.
one, yeah, there was some really good, and Tim Curry.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Right.
But you have Stephen Lynch who can do what you can kind of call parody song. I mean, comedians
yeah.
singing songs. I mean, stuff like that where it's just
Rucka
all,
Alley.
Yeah.
Which I'm not a big fan of because I think that's.
But I mean, to me, I think it's the ultimate compliment.
Yeah.
I think it is.
Yeah, see, parodies are great. The opposite of the parody, in my opinion, is the roast.
Yes.
And I absolutely hate roasts because to me that's just an excuse to
Be mean.
be mean and have but you can't it can't bother you. But I've never seen a roast where I didn't like cringe.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, it's when people's friends are doing it to each other, that's one thing. Like us at the table, we give each other crap constantly, but it's all out of mutual respect, and we all love each other, and it's respect. It's understood. But if someone was to come onto the table and start just being buttholes to us, I think that's
Well, here's the thing about that.
Yeah.
Okay, parodies are poking fun. What we do at the table is poking fun. None of us are out to make each other upset. And I know that you could say roasts aren't meant to do that, but what are
what
they
else
actually
are they?
meant to do?
I don't think that's parody. I don't think roasts
No.
are parody.
No.
I think roasts are just
Nasty.
roasts.
yeah. It's its own thing.
It's I can see nasty. It can get nasty. There's a very fine line between like a roast being, because you're right. It's like your best friends. Like they know each other, they love each other, and they know it's all in good fun, and that's what it was supposed to be.
But then you bring Carrot Top on, he's like,
I'm thinking of a young Amy Schumer when she went after Mike Tyson, and even I was like,
yeah.
I'm like, when is he going to punch her in the face? Like I can see it coming.
Yeah,
but he took it in stride. Thank goodness.
Have you ever seen the Pamela Anderson one?
Oh yeah.
Where it wasn't even about Pamela Anderson, but it was the line that Greg Giraldo, I believe, did, and Courtney Love was in the seats and goes, "How is it that Kurt Cobain looks better than you right now?" Yeah,
oh, that's
Yeah.
too.
Yeah,
That's
see?
too,
yeah,
that's
that
too far.
that stopped,
And that's the thing.
everything,
It's kind of you can lift that and use it as a comparison to society in general.
Yeah.
Because I think in many ways we live in a very, very ugly society.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Look at anything online, any argument. And parodies are one of the bright, shining things still left where you can poke fun at things like David Chappelle, man. He was one
yeah.
of the absolute best at that.
Yeah.
Poking fun at racism, poking
Key and
fun
Peele.
at things.
Key and Peele
Key
did
and
it
Peele,
too.
exactly.
Right.
And then to parody things. And parody as an expression of fun poking.
Right.
It's one of the best things still left.
Well, there was the good web series too that pokes fun at like The Bachelor called Burnin' Love. That was done by Thomas Lennon and
Oh
and
yeah.
somebody else. That one was utterly amazing actually. Going after The Bachelor and The Bachelorette, and then there are other little sideshows that they did on it. But I mean that's good clean parody right there to me.
And even just to go back to Mel Brooks as well, like I mean he, especially with like the producers like Springtime for Hitler, like he definitely wanted to bring that subject up, but he used comedy and he used humor to bring it up instead of just bring it up as just these horrific things that happen. So
and also the Zuckers. So with Airplane, Naked Guns.
Yeah,
But good parody does not make you as the viewer feel uncomfortable.
No.
Bad parody does, and I think that would be the difference. Because once it hits, it makes the audience feel uncomfortable. Then it's gone too far and it's no longer parody. It's roast.
Yeah, or it's just poking. It's poking fun for the sake of poking fun. Yeah, it's mean.
Parody should never be mean.
Right.
No.
I mean, it's like I started out saying, it's a matter of respect.
Right.
That you care about this work enough to knock it off.
Well, that's one of the great things about Al is that's why he asked for permission. Like you said, he could very well just go up and just do the parody and just like give them the middle finger and say, "I'm doing this because I want to."
Yeah.
But no, he wants their blessing and permission, and because then it's a true parody because he's not making fun of them in a mean way. He's just having an homage to their music.
Yeah.
And not parody in the sense, but Jason, with your knowledge of music and everything, I mean, almost every band starts off as a cover band anyways, right? And why are they doing that? To pay homage. They care about the music and everything. I mean, Al cares about all this music that he does and then just wants to bring something. I mean, he's something different at the same time, too. I mean, he's somebody who maybe not have been able to write his own lyrics for his own musical content or whatever his way was to go this way. But I mean, the man is doing something that nobody else does.
He's a genius.
Yeah, nobody else does it.
Yeah. So, actually, let's move directly from there to our Winchester research segment.
You are about to get schooled. It's time for a history lesson.
All right. So, we're just going to gloss over a few different things about Mr. Weird Al. So, his full name, Alfred Matthew Yankovic, and he was born October 23rd, 1959. He started, as Jason was saying, in the 33-66, he got the accordion. He got the accordion very young. I believe it was right before his 6th birthday. And he started taking lessons. And he took lessons for, I believe they said, about 3 years, until he started just learning on his own. His biggest inspiration that he said from that point was actually Elton John's Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, where he wanted to learn how to play rock and roll on the accordion.
Right.
So that's where he really started getting into that. And then, of course, he was extremely into Dr. Demento. So he would start doing, those parody songs that he did. And actually, the very first one that he did, and how we talked about, too, where you said that he skipped the 2nd grade. He started school a year early. Then he skipped the 2nd grade because he got such great grades.
Right.
And he graduated basically being 2 years younger than everybody else.
Wow.
He was only 16 when he graduated. And that's kind of where he was labeled a nerd early on because of that, because he was so good. I mean, he ended up being the valedictorian while he was in high school. He never did sports because he just said that he didn't care about it, but he was with the National Forensic League, the sanctioned speech events, play based on Rebel Without a Cause for the yearbook. He also wrote for the yearbook.
Yeah.
Those kind of things. So, and then he went on to attend California Polytechnic State University of San Luis Obispo, where he earned a bachelor's degree in architecture.
Nice.
So, moving on with his music, he really liked Dr. Demento, so he started writing a lot of those kind of things. And the very first song that he recorded was in 1976, a year after he graduated, called Belvedere Cruising, all about his parents' Belvedere, Plymouth Belvedere, I believe it was. I did not know
that one, actually.
And he gave that tape to Dr. Demento. Dr. Demento liked it, played it on his radio. on his show, and that's the birth of Weird Al Yankovic right there.
Right.
He got nicknamed somehow in college as Weird Al because he also worked for the radio station inside of there.
And we've all seen how he looks. To be honest.
Yeah.
So he went on a lot with those. I mean, you basically fast forwarded to the man has sold more than 12 million albums. Now just think about that.
For a parody artist.
For a parody artist, he sold more than, and that was only like the count at about 2007, I believe
Right.
it was.
It doesn't count this new thing.
No, it doesn't count the newer
millions.
ones. Yeah. So it's more than 12 million. He's won 4 Grammys.
Jeez.
And he's had 11 nominations. And then he's had 4 gold records, 6 platinum records. But the best thing I think really is the reaction that the people are giving him. They say Michael Jackson was a huge fan of him and allowed him to do Fat and Eat It. Although he wanted to do Black or White, but Michael Jackson just asked him, please don't do that one because I just wanted to keep
it as his.
Yeah, keep it as his. Because he was going to title it Snack All Night.
No more food!
And there is kind of where it went a little downhill for him because that was also when he put out the movie UHF, which I'm a huge fan of.
It had too much
that movie.
competition.
It's a great movie, yeah.
I liked it.
It's
bombed.
a cult classic.
Yeah,
though.
it bombed.
Well, so did Clue.
Yeah. Yeah, UHF bombed, and then at that point, he was kind of down in his career, and then he came across Nirvana. And then Smells Like Nirvana, and then that just brought him back into...
Right.
Yeah, because that video that he did for that actually went up against Smells Like Teen Spirit for like the MTV Movie Awards.
Really?
Or something. Yeah, it was like the two of them went up against each other.
And how hard did you laugh when you saw that video the first time?
Oh, yeah.
And
I literally had to watch it twice because I had tears in my
the
eyes.
Yeah,
marble game,
Dave
my
Bending the
Grohl.
guitar.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Dave Grohl said they like belly laughed the entire time they were watching it.
Nice.
The presidents of the United States of America were so pleased with his video and song Gump.
Oh.
That they ended their song with his last line instead of their own.
Really?
And then that's all I have to say about that. Yeah, that was actually Al's line. This was kind of the funny one because if you listen to the White and Nerdy, which is a parody of the song Riding by Chamillionaire.
Riding Dirty.
Chamillionaire loved everything that he did and basically said that my album never would have won a Grammy if it wasn't for Weird Al. Because he said that there was people overseas that said, hey, we love your cover of Weird Al song. that's how big that got. And then he said, from that point forward, that is just the biggest thing that's, ever happened.
That's the biggest rub you can get.
Right.
So.
Isn't it Chamillionaire?
Chamillionaire. Yeah.
Not my genre, sorry.
Nah, mine either, but that's all right. But, with the positive always comes a little bit of negative, and then, we all kind of talked about that, the whole thing with Coolio. The Red Hot Chili Peppers, actually, Flea got
Flea
a little
was
upset.
Being a douche.
Yeah, he said that the song Bedrock Anthem, which parodied 2 of the band's songs, Flea was quoted as saying, I didn't think it was very good. I enjoy Weird Al's things, but I found it unimaginative. That's also the funny thing. Everybody that had something negative says, I am a huge Weird Al fan.
Yeah.
So,
But having said that,
it's honestly because they know that they're being a butt in this case.
Yeah,
because it's what can you say other than what's the problem?
Well, as I say, no offense, but yeah, you know what you're about to do.
it's if like I've always heard that if you say but you'll say something and then you say but whatever you said at the beginning doesn't
Not
matter
count,
anymore. Yeah.
So we were talking about some of the refusals. There was one more that we left out. Jimmy Page, Led Zeppelin's Jimmy Page,
right.
actually
Yeah.
said,
they're like
who
that, though, too.
who again, it starts off as a self-proclaimed Yankovic fan, but when he was he wanted to create a polka medley of Led Zeppelin songs, Page refused. But he was, however, allowed the opportunity to re-record a sample of a Black Dog for a segment for Trapped in the Drive-Thru.
Yes, I remember that too.
Can you imagine if they did Immigrant Song?
Oh my god!
I'm trying to hear that with an accordion.
Oh, that's amazing.
So, and then of course James Blunt also wasn't really on board, but then again, nobody likes James Blunt.
And where's
so.
his career went? I'm just curious. He gave up on Weird Al. His career died.
The one thing I do want to kind of talk about real quick, and I'll end it on this, but I read and I didn't know, and it just impresses me more with him, is he actually, he holds strong to his religion. He's Christian by faith, but he's a vegetarian since 1992, and that was one of the reasons Paul McCartney didn't want him to do one of the other ones, because Paul McCartney is also a vegetarian. He was going to do something with chicken pot pie.
Yeah. Chicken pot pie.
And then McCartney actually said, well, why don't you use tofu?
Yeah,
and
'cause it
then
doesn't
Al's like,
work.
yeah, it
Don't
doesn't
sound right.
work. So, but vegetarian, doesn't drink, doesn't use drugs, doesn't cuss in anything that he does.
Nope.
Never had to, never done.
Never had any sexual
Yeah.
Scandals.
scandals. That's what
Right.
I was
Yeah.
looking for.
Yeah. So, I mean,
And quite honestly, the thing about Prince, Prince was a musical genius.
Yes.
Cannot be denied. But Prince was a strange cat.
yes.
Cannot be denied.
Kevin
Right.
Smith gave us a real view into
Yeah.
the strange cat that was Prince. So it kind of doesn't surprise me. That's one of the ones where Prince had such a loose grip on reality anyway,
Yeah.
that, that whole thing of,
Yeah.
Al can't look at me. Really?
Well,
Yeah,
just he had his own universe, not his form of
Prince
reality.
world.
Yeah, it
Prince
was his
world.
own
Yeah.
universe. Like and nobody was going to make fun
But
of
hey,
that universe.
genius is sometimes whacked out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
And honestly, Prince didn't really need his not permission, but didn't
Prince
really
didn't need the rub.
He doesn't need the Weird Al bump. Like he
No.
was already
But
a
neither
mega
did Michael
star
Jackson.
anyway.
But let's be honest, I think that made Michael Jackson actually a bigger star.
Probably.
Yeah.
It really
just
did.
to show that he like we've all said, like the one main thing about Al is that the music industry is very tough, very competitive, dog eat dog. They'll just destroy you rather than to be friends with you. And Weird Al found a way in there where he is like an ambassador of peace and just fun. Like, don't take yourself seriously.
Well, and like the video for Fat, they let him use the same set.
And
Set.
even the same dancers, wasn't it?
Yeah, maybe some of the same dancers, but the same set as the behind the scenes one after Bad.
Yeah.
I forget which one it was, but Michael Jackson let him use that stage. And also in Smells Like Nirvana, he used the same janitor and then some of the background people that were also inside of Smells Like Teen Spirit.
Right.
Dick Van Patten in that. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah.
I almost want to go through every video and just pick them apart.
And that's
The subtle jokes are just so amazing.
well, and that's where he's kind of remained extremely popular as well, is because he makes such good videos. I mean, they are great videos to watch.
Well, the
So-
other thing is, every time that a kid gets about 4th, 5th grade, they discover Weird Al, and the cycle continues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's about the time because it's non-threatening enough that anybody can listen to it. So parents do pass it on to their kids. But it's about 5th, 6th grade the kids start to appreciate it. In it's 8th grade that you get Pink Floyd. It's about 5th grade that you get Weird Al, and that's why Weird Al will never die as a pop culture icon.
Well, and he's smart enough to know when to do the parodies. Like I'm sure that he does some research, or he has a team of people that does research. Like, all right, what's the newest thing that comes out? Because if you notice, like all of his songs are like top 10.
He is the trend.
Yeah,
Well,
and
and
he doesn't kind of shove it down your throat. He'll wait. He'll actually wait for a while and then wait until somebody else comes big, and then he'll go out and
Yeah. Well, and that's one of the recent quotes I did, because he's actually out on tour now. But one of the recent quotes, this last album that he put out is going to be his last of like, a traditional album of songs. He said, because with the way that it is now that you can release music on the internet, he's just going to go forward now with like EPs to be able to,
Which
be
is smart.
be more current with any of the songs that come out, rather
Yeah.
than having to wait and then, have it go out on disc or whatever.
Well,
Right.
what did he do on this last album? He released everything on YouTube the same day.
Yeah.
A full video on everything.
Yeah.
And it's like a whole new generation discovered him and fell in love with him again.
right.
Has anyone here seen him live?
Yes, I
No.
have.
You've seen him live?
I have not.
I highly suggest it.
Yeah,
it was 5 years ago, I think. Still puts on a heck of a show. He has not slowed down a bit. Still does multiple costume changes. I mean, it's a full stage show. He's playing outside in freaking Henderson. the Henderson Pavilion, and it was packed with, like I said, it was parents and their kids.
Yeah.
And it didn't feel like a Raffi concert. It didn't. I mean, it wasn't anything silly like that. But I mean, there was teenagers there. There was your normal concert goers, and everybody was there, and they were just sucked into this incredible stage experience. They have the whenever he does the stage stuff, they have the video screens come down, and I don't know if you guys seen those interviews that he's done, the parody interviews with like George Lucas. I mean, he literally he's talking to somebody, and then it cuts to the other person, and they're answering a question from some other interview. Just brilliant how he does it.
That's awesome.
And then like he did the full fat suit for Fat.
Nice.
And did the whole thing. I'm like, wow, it's pretty cool. And then then he closed the show with my favorite song, which we'll get to in just now. Then actually, that's a great segue to it. Let's go to our main event.
Now it's time for the main event.
Okay, so today's main event, we are going to discuss our top 5 favorite Al parodies. I don't personally have any honorable mentions just because there's 7 billion songs, so my honorable mention is everything that I didn't mention.
Yeah.
I think everyone could probably agree with that.
Absolutely.
This was honestly hard to do this list because they're just all so good. Okay, so let's start with my number 5, and that is going to be Jurassic Park. I don't know. I know this was a parody. I don't know the song. That I've heard it before, but I've never heard it. But it's just like this very earnest sounding power ballad, and it came out right after Jurassic Park, and it talks about the dinosaurs chasing you, and I think those things are harm me because they sure don't look like Barney, and they think that I'm their dinner, not their friend. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Al. Thank you. I hope you're listening to this because this is a love letter to Al now.
My number 5 is going to be Oreo.
The white stuff. Yeah.
And to be perfectly honest, it really is just because of that little... I'm sorry. Bad songs get stuck in my head. New Kids on the Block, somehow, if it gets played, then that song can get stuck in my head. And this can just change it right away.
Too?
No, I can't do the dance.
I bet you do the dance.
But the white stuff, which is obviously the parody of New Kids' right stuff. But yeah, brilliant. All about just the inside of an Oreo cookie. So good.
My number 5, one of my favorite songs of all time, is actually "Eye of the Tiger" by Survivor.
Yes.
And then it even made it more amazing when Weird Al Yankovic did the parody of "The Rye the Kaiser."
That's when he went through his food phase. Be fair. For a skinny guy, that dude is obsessed with food.
So good.
I'd love to have that metabolism. That'd be great.
Jeez, wouldn't we all?
So
Gosh.
way back in MTV days, do you guys remember when he took over MTV and did Al TV?
Yes.
For a brief time. Okay, so interestingly, as you pointed out, Winchester, he could not do black or white. Michael Jackson didn't want him to do it. But on his Al TV segment, he played the video for black and white, and he sang over it. And he sang in this voice that, like, the more you heard it, it's like you didn't want to laugh, and then it's like you couldn't help yourself. Because it was almost like, it's black, it's white. And he did the whole thing. So imagine Michael Jackson's voice, and him lip syncing to just thinking about my baby, it don't matter. It was great. And then when he got to all the people that were shifting and changing, it's like everyone had a different voice.
That's awesome.
It's black, it's white. And so it was just
I'm gonna have to
hysterical.
YouTube this when we finish the
Yeah,
show.
it's probably out there somewhere. It's hysterical.
I have to find that one.
Nice. My number 4 is the holiday classic Christmas at Ground Zero. Because what a crazy fluke, we're going to get nuked on this jolly holiday.
Nice.
Just the most optimistic, hope-filled romp as they're talking.
He's doing a left-handed Shakespearean pose as he says
as they're
this.
talking about having to shoot grandma if she's come knocking at the chimney. It's fantastic.
I'm gonna have to stick with this food phase and go lasagna. Parody of La Bamba, which was a lot of
get
fun.
some spaghetti.
Yeah, good stuff.
All right, so picture it. Like, what was it, like 1984, 1985? Transformers, the movie comes out. You're in the movie theater, and they get to the planet of the Junkions, and then all of a sudden they're it looks like they're about to be killed by the Junkions, but then all of a sudden they get world peace, and then all of a sudden a song comes on, "Dare to Be Stupid" by Weird Al Yankovic, and I just remember my eyes just lit up and my smile grew like 3 sizes that day. I'm like, I will always watch this movie until my dying days.
Nice.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I saw this one more recently, and that was, you mentioned the name of the artist, and I can't remember, but it was White and Nerdy.
Yeah.
So that was by who?
Chameleon.
Chameleon or Chameleon, depending on Chameleon. Key and Peele are in the video.
Yeah.
Who I love. They're so funny. And that video, it's kind of like me. I mean, I'm white and nerdy.
Donny Osmond was in it too.
Yeah.
There was quite a few people in it that they listed
I
off.
want to bowl with the gangsters. Yeah, I was blown away by that.
He talks about MySpace and it still feels relevant.
What's his chameleonaire or whatever we want to call him? He also said that he was impressed with the way that Al could rap.
Right.
He said he was legitimately impressed.
One cool thing, when he came out kind of dressed and did that and was rapping, he almost looked like he was taking that a little seriously.
Yeah.
And that was like an interesting contrast for him.
And I believe,
we said, it's respect.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I believe that was his highest chart-topping song, too, ever. I think that one was like number 6 or something like that.
Right.
That he had that one charted really high.
Nice.
People love that one.
Okay, let's see, what are we, number 3?
Number 3.
Number 3 is Trapped in the Drive-Thru, which was the parody of Trapped in the Closet, which should have been a parody in the first place, because that was, he took this such a horrible concept song, and it was so brilliant and it's like 9 minutes long, and you can sit and listen to the whole thing, and you don't feel like it. It's great. You guys have heard the song, right?
Yes.
I suggest watching the video on YouTube, the whole thing. It's all done in that Weird Al animation style.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's been really prevalent lately. The same one that they'd used for Zombie Stomping Day. And then the Led Zeppelin thing that they put in there and everything. It's great.
That's awesome. My number 3 is going to be Smells Like Nirvana. They just, because it's so great, because he's not making fun of them, but he's basically saying nobody knows what the hell
saying.
Kurt Cobain was saying in that entire song.
Well, I don't know if you heard the whole backstory when he asked for it. He goes, "Yeah, well, you can do it." Oh, wait, it's not going to be about food.
Yeah,
is
it's
it?
not. Yeah. He said it's not going to be about food.
He goes, "No, it's about how nobody can understand what you're saying." Oh, that's okay.
Then. Yeah. He was pretty happy with that. But yeah, it's so good.
My number 3, one of the heartbreaking songs. There are a couple of girlfriends that I can ex-girlfriends. I can talk about that.
I know where you're going with this.
But we really didn't even touch on it a little bit. But not only did Weird Al have a lot of parody songs, but he actually wrote a lot of original songs too that were just as good, or if not better. And one of them is "One More Minute." Oh. And it's literally it's a love song about his ex-girlfriend that he would rather see her. He would rather do these things than see her going to date somebody else.
Getting bamboo shoots under his fingernails.
I'd rather have my blood sucked out by leeches.
Leeches.
I'd rather clean. I'd rather clean all the bathrooms of Grand Central Station with my tongue.
Yes.
Than spend one more minute with you.
Brilliant.
That's funny.
So good.
That's great.
You've never felt so good about a breakup after listening to that song.
So just the other night, we were on the Recorded Deconstruction podcast. We did a show on cover
shameless
tunes.
Plug.
Yeah, shameless plug. We did it's on iTunes. And no, I'm sorry. No, we did a cover songs show, and so K-Brew pitched one out, and I had never heard it before, and it was Weird Al's cover of Bohemian Rhapsody. And it is absolutely the most glorious thing you have ever heard.
Does it have accordion?
Of course it has accordion.
Yeah.
And it's not a parody. It's just a cover of the song.
But it's like polka, isn't it?
Yes. And it's that was where we determined that there are no holy grails of songs that he cannot cover.
Yeah.
He could do anything as far as I'm concerned. Mm-hmm. And he's
about the only one.
Yep. He is the only one.
Yeah.
Because he respects them. Okay, number 2 is off this latest album, Word Crimes, which is that's the internet. That's your, and he goes through the whole everything that everyone gripes about on the internet when you spell something wrong, the grammar Nazis, for lack of a better term. And it's the cover of Blurred Lines from Robin Thicke.
Robin Thicke, yeah.
It's fantastic.
It is pretty funny.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd love to hear that.
You haven't heard that one yet?
I haven't heard
We'll
Yeah.
play that after the show.
Yeah, it's pretty good. My number 2 is going to be I Lost on Jeopardy.
Nice.
Baby.
They actually say that he kind of helped bring back Jeopardy.
Jeopardy, yeah.
During that time,
Yeah.
Jeopardy was kind of on
On the decline.
Yeah, on the decline throughout that, and they think, possibly that he helped save it a little bit.
Yeah, we'll cover in Grey Kins.
Yeah,
Our Loves in Jeopardy.
absolutely.
All right, my number 2 is he has done several of these for Star Wars, doing Star Wars parody, but the one that I love the most is Yoda.
Yoda.
Which is, of course, a parody of
Lola.
Lola by the Kinks.
That's it.
It looks like a woman.
Walks
Walks like a man.
And they go by where bubbles all the time like a giant
Carbonated
carbonated soda.
SODA soda. Okay, we gotta stop. I feel like we're gonna-
That's legal. That's a trademark. We can't do it.
Yeah, sing-along podcast. That's beautiful. My number 2, the first thing I ever heard from Al Ricky, which is a parody of Tony Basil's Mickey,
Hey, Ricky.
but it's I Love Lucy.
Yeah.
It's Ricky Ricardo and Lucy, and they're singing to each other. Yeah, oh, Ricky, you're so fine. You play your bongos all the time. Yeah, it's
Ricky.
it's hysterical.
It is a really good song.
Yes.
Yeah. And then to be on like his first album and that be number 1 out the gate
Right.
from that album is fantastic.
Okay, my number 1. I don't think this is a parody of anything. It's one of his trademark rants. He goes on for like 12 minutes long. Called Albuquerque.
Oh,
where,
yeah.
where the air smells like warm root beer. That's what he closed the show on, and the band just rocked on that entire song. And I'm like, this is Weird Al? No.
Right.
I mean, I was like, yeah, I kind of want to mosh to this. This
Right.
is fantastic. Why are we not jumping in on this? This is awesome. Just the whole song's really good. If you haven't heard that one,
Is it-
take 10 minutes out of your life and take a listen to the whole thing.
ALBE. Kirky.
That's what I'm going to be listening to on the drive home.
Nice.
My number 1, semi kind of, nostalgic because one of my father's favorite songs was always Money for Nothing. He just blasts the radio whenever that song comes. He still does, actually. But when Weird Al did, and it's called Money for Nothing Beverly Hillbillies, and if you read about why, he says it's because of those damn lawyers. Because the lawyers say that has to be named a certain thing. So, but, I mean, the video was fantastic because it followed the same exact thing for Money for Nothing that
With the-
Dire Straits did with the cheesy.
At the time, the perfect CGI,
Yes.
now cheesy.
Yeah, now cheesy, but he did the same thing, and yeah. And then also it was in the movie UHF. It was one,
Yeah.
But what's his face? Koppler or the Dire
Mark
Straits?
Knopfler.
Yeah, Mark Koppler actually said as long he could do it on the movie UHF as long as he still gets to play guitar.
Huh?
So
That sounds
Dude.
like, who is it? Sylvester Stallone wants to play Eye of the Tiger whenever it's played live.
yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, that wouldn't work.
The tiger.
That's
good.
Oh, wait, number
No,
1?
Adrian, yeah. Yeah, we'll
All
do
right,
that.
I do have one quick honorable mention.
Oh, fire away.
Everything that he did polka, like just bringing the polka back to the masses is amazing. Like he's such a great accordion player.
Yes,
All
he
right.
is.
All right, my number 1. My number 1 is from the album Running with Scissors. It's an original song that he wrote called Your Horoscope for Today.
I'm trying to remember that.
All right,
did.
everybody.
Well, no, we listened to it. We listened to it when I first got here. You asked me to put it on.
Yeah,
So, it was good.
It basically he goes through all the zodiac symbols and gives you your horoscope for today. That's what it is. Yeah,
That's actually pretty clever.
yeah, and but straight polka, kind of almost like a ska polka.
Oh, okay.
a little
Oh,
bit,
no, I remember hearing that. When
Yeah.
yeah, I was doing stuff.
That's awesome. Okay, so you guys know the number 1 selling album of all time, don't you?
Beat it
Michael Jackson's Thriller.
or Thriller.
Right.
Yeah.
And of course, in the heyday of MTV, Michael Jackson put out some fabulous, awesome videos.
Yes.
Including the video for Beat It, which featured the Eddie Van Halen doing a guitar solo. And Al, my first time ever seeing Weird Al, was the parody of Eat It, which was scene for scene.
Yeah, exactly.
Exact. And and Rick Derringer, who did a lot of work with him.
Yeah, until he had his unfortunate drug problem
Yeah, right.
in 1992.
But Rick Derringer played the solo on that and did a lot of work with him.
And produced.
Yeah, it's just, that was my first time seeing this guy that I had heard once before on an album, and I saw him and I was just like,
transfixed.
Yeah, I mean, scene for scene with the clothes and the moves and everything, and he got it perfect.
Yeah.
And, you look at it, you're like, okay, this guy's going to be huge forever
Yeah.
because of this.
Yeah.
And he was right.
Yep.
Still is today. We love you, Al.
Yes. Well, that was a show.
We'll tag him.
Yes, I think that we're Mr. Al. If you are listening to the show, nothing but respect, and I hope that didn't come off as anything but this on this entire episode. If you want to, if you give us a comment on this, that'll make my life. Anyway, yeah.
Homage parody.
The homage parody of Weird Al being Weird Al. Check out the website, www.iheartgeekshow.com. Use the com. We paid extra for it. Go to the Twitter at iHeartGeekShow. Do the Facebook. Take the polls. Talk to us. We do talk back. Every single one of us, even Mr. Winchester.
I do.
And by Light Force.
Yes.
Until next time, I'm Dub.
I'm Weird Winchester.
I'm Crazy Codge.
I'm just PB and Weird Jason.
Keep on geeking on.
No parody to that?
You've been listening to iHeartGeek. Our Twitter account is @iHeartGeekShow. Hope you enjoyed the show.